Hello my lovely crafty friends, and here we are with me, Claire from Crafty Claire, and today we're going to create a masterboard doodle sheet on top of this medication information leaflet. If you're anything like me and you've hit the menopause, you're likely to have quite a few of these leaflets floating around, particularly if you're on HRT or any of the other medications that go with the joy that is the menopause. So I poached this idea from a lovely lady in the Junk Journal Community Chat UK group. I can't remember her name offhand, but when I post this link in the group, I will tag her. And she showed how she was creating collage sheets for her journals onto some medication sheets, because we all have them lying around and they're just a big bit of paper that's wasted. So I have chosen this lovely floral napkin that I had, and I've torn it up, and then I've chosen some tissue papers that are coordinating colours, and I'm just creating almost like a scrap collage at the back. And you can see some of the print coming through, which is why we'll doodle later. Another lady in the group also used this sheet to print on, which I thought was a really good idea as well. But for this sheet, I am going to doodle on it because it's quite summery, it's quite joyful, and I do enjoy a nice little Zen doodle. You'll see that I've also added some green in. This is slightly thicker tissue paper. It's just kept from a bunch of flowers I received some while ago. So I'm just filling in the gaps, nearly finished the strip. The glue I'm using is my own creation. It's what I call splodge. It is a mix of clear PVA and medium. Both of which can be bought at the range or any other craft shops. In fact, clear PVA they sell in Home Bargains, which is quite cool because it's really cheap. I prefer clear PVA because it dries clear, as the word says, as the title says. I was meant to be posting this as a Monday make in Junk Journal Fairies, and then today got a little bit carried away and the technology wasn't working. So I've had to come home after work today, and I will pop a link to this in Junk Journal Fairies and Junk Journal Community Chat so that people can see it, and I will tag the lovely lady that gave us the idea. So as I'm just finishing, you can see I'm just going back over and I'm just popping a few more bits of the floral napkin over the top of any joins, any holes, or where I feel like there's a really big block of single colour. I'm not too fussed about the fact that it's hanging over the edge. I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to do with that. So just making sure that the whole sheet is covered. And now it's dry. What I'm going to do is just tear off any big overhangs, but I want to leave it a little bit rough around the edge. I did think about cutting it out, but I just thought, do you know what, it's quite rough. I quite like it. So just using my trusty black gel pen, I'm just doodling on top. The book you can see just at the top of the video is a art journal that I worked on when I very first started crafting again. And I just created this art journal of God's wonderful world, and it's going through the 7 days of creation. And for plants I did some lovely doodles. It's still not finished, and I started that probably 3 or 4 years ago now. But yeah, about 3 years ago. So most of my projects are work in progress, and I don't mind that at all. I come back to them. But I might do a little walk through that journal at another time. But yeah, so I knew I'd doodle some flowers in it, and I knew I'd liked the flowers that I doodled. So I just opened it up to get some ideas for the doodling of the flowers. So you can see I'm just doing simple line doodles, just going over the top of my image. These pens work really well. These are just from Home Bargains. I think you get 2 for something like 99p. and they are my favourite black pen to use. They just write really beautifully. They're like a gel pen, but they write like a biro. So just doing a range of heights and shapes and doodles all over this, because you can see some of the text through. I mean, that doesn't bother me, but I know the lovely lady who first showed us it showed how she used almost like the blocking out, and she did doodles right over the text so that you couldn't see it. I'm not too fussed about that, so I'm just doodling my flowers. Obviously, if you've got flowers, you've got to have a few bees. And we're just going to finish off with the last few. I have repeated some of the plants along. When I show you it at the end, you'll see that some of them have been repeated. Some there is only one version of. So this one I'm just finishing off here. You can see I've repeated again. I've tried to vary the shapes and the heights and the, what am I trying to say? The style of the flowers, the doodles. Just giving it a good coverage. You could always do this with a thicker marker. I quite like the fineness of it. I did have a go with a Sharpie. My Sharpie's quite thick and I really didn't like it at all. It kind of really wasn't zingy, and it doesn't show up very well on the video, but when you look at this really closely, actually you can really see the flowers. They really do pop on the page. I could go over it with a little bit of white, add some highlight. I could add some silver. You could splatter some ink on top of it, maybe some gold ink if you've got it. Add whatever you want. You could add some washi tape, some stickers, make it your own. And when you've finished it, you've got this lovely, lovely strip of, it's quite thin, almost like a masterboard, but it's quite thin paper, so it lends itself to being like pockets or page coverings. I may cut this up at some point. I may use it in a journal, or I may just fold it up and pop it in my ideas journal, so that when I think, right, what can I do for a background, I can look back at this and I can think, oh yeah, I can just use like medication sheet and just collage over the top of it, doodle onto it. I could sticker onto it, I could stamp onto it. Do whatever you need to do to make it your own. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, follow, subscribe, and I will see you again. Happy crafting!